Thank you for having me, Tina.
There you are. We made it. We made it. All right. So, Yocasta, you're the director of talent at Collins, an incredibly successful and prestigious firm. So, for those of you that are not familiar with Collins, I'm pretty certain you have been interacting or exposed to some of their work. They're talented people. They're the talented people behind rebrands and campaigns for Robinhood, Spotify, Twitch, Mailchimp, Dropbox, just to name a few. Collins is pretty much the hottest shop in town. All the cool kids want to work there, Yocasta. So how did you end up at Collins?
Oh my God, thank you for all your kind words about us and our work. How did I end up at Collins? I met Brian 20 years ago at Ogilvy. At the time, I was leading production on the new business development team and worked closely with Brian on a lot of new business pitches. I was at Ogilvy for almost 9 years. I left Ogilvy to take a mommy break for a few years. Freelance for a while. I was interested in experiencing different work environments outside of big agencies, and reconnected with Brian five and a half years ago, yeah. As he was starting to build out the team. And for me, Collins was just the best of the best of both places, the best world of the best talent, and just a work environment where there was lots of potential for growth. At big agencies, you could get a little bit siloed at times. But yeah, that's how I connected with Brian.
How long was Collins in existence when you joined?
Yes, we're in year 12, so we were year 6.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm endlessly impressed with the beautiful and thoughtful work that Collins puts out, but I'm honestly even more impressed by the commitment of Brian and the team to making a difference. I personally believe that companies can be a huge change agent for good. And when your boss, Brian, founder of Collins, told me about your high school internship program, I literally gasped. It's a high school internship program aimed at students of color. And then he started telling me about you and how you led this program, and you have been nurturing it for 5 years. So tell me about this internship program, because I really want the world to know about this, and because I feel like you're making a real difference. So how did it come about?
Yeah, it came out of a conversation our former president, Amber Gald, and I had when I first came on board. We were sharing our paths into the industry, how we just stumbled upon the industry, and for me, it was a childhood friend who was a receptionist at a production company who called me up one day and said, "You're artsy fartsy, come in for an interview." And Amber had a similar story. I think receptionists were the connectors for people of color at the time.
So basically, you're saying you didn't have anyone in your world that would have actually made you think about a career in the creative industry, right?
No. I had very little access or even awareness about the industry, which is what happens for a lot of folks of color. With the lack of representation comes a lack of having people in your community, to be able to mentor you, and see what that, different career options in creative industries look like.
So then as a recruiter, and you realize that other, your colleagues who are also of color, you realize this is like pure coincidence that you're all stumbling into this. Basically, it was just sheer fate.
Yes.
So, but how did you make then the connection to, like, we need to change that and we need to actually create a pipeline and open up that opportunity?
Because I'd just connected with so many, people of color in the industry over the years. And, there was a pattern of similar patterns of not having a very straightforward path. the stories were more along the line similar to mine, or that they discovered, design or the industry in, their senior year of college. But in comparison to, a lot, our peers that we were working with, a lot of their stories were my best friend's dad was a creative lead at an agency. I was exposed early. I knew what I wanted to study at school. And I just wanted, I want that, replicate that model. For how do you replicate that model for people who don't have, who aren't represented in the industry, where you learn about it early, you're mentored through college, and then mentored, help place you into the industry.
Yeah. So tell me about your program. So you've been running a internship mentorship program since 5 years, aiming at students of color, and you start at the high school level. So how many kids have gone through the program? How many do you have per year? Break it down for me.
Yes. We've mentored 8 students so far. We bring on board 2 per year. Mm-hmm. We have 100% enrollment into college. They're enrolled in school, a wide range of schools, from RISD to University of Michigan, Cooper Union, Fashion Institute of Technology, John Jay. And yeah.
And why do you start at high school? I mean, I'm thinking how, like, I'm just so curious as someone who, thinks instantly very practical, like, how do you find the high school students? How are they going to be helpful within this, the company? Like, are they already talent? Like, do they bring a certain talent already? Because high school seems pretty early. I think it's awesome, but I could see a lot of people go like, why do you start in high school?
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yes. Because high school students need to know these careers exist before they're choosing a college or a major, right? Rather
tell me about them
later on.
Tell me about your students and how they're contributing to Collins.
They are extremely talented. I actually have a few slides of some of their work to share.
So this is them already working with you or before?
No. I want to note that this is work that they use to apply to the program. So they're already at this level before they join. And I don't think anyone really realizes how brilliantly talented high school students
are.
Wow,
that's impressive. So we're talking 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds?
Juniors and seniors.
This is high school level before they even?
High school level.
Thank you, Internet. I didn't have that. That's amazing. That's so cool. So why is it so important? Why is it important to start a program aimed at high school level? Like, I'm obviously you. Well, I guess you answered that just now because you think it needs to start earlier, right?
I think yes, and just that give them discovering design later on sometimes leads to needing to extend your time at college because you don't have enough credits to graduate with a degree in design. Some of my mentees have had to, gone to grad school and to get an MFA in design because they didn't get their undergrad in design. I think also design skills. It takes time to hone your craft. And so if you're interested in it, the earlier you're at it, working at it, the better.
So, and you recruit from art high schools that are focused on design already in New York City right now, right?
We work with a range. It doesn't necessarily have to be the specialized high school.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised, even in the non-specialized public school, there's still a lot of great talent. Mm-hmm. But there is a lot of, there are some great specialized art schools around the city.
My daughter is starting at one of them in September, actually in a few weeks. Yeah. So break it down for us. I want to get real practical here. So if people are here from studios, agencies, like how much time do you spend with a student? How much do you pay them? Who in your team gets involved? Who's the point of contact? Give me the nitty-gritty of how that actually works.
Well, maybe I should I'll outline a little bit more about the program and what we do. Mm-hmm. So we it's part mentorship and part industry knowledge. And we teach them the tools of the trade. They get client experience, workshops, and we also work on portfolio development, college internships, and career development. And we continue to mentor them through college and onto hopefully soon placing them into the industry, if not hiring them ourselves. It's a lot of time. But
break that down for us. Like you haven't come, when you say a lot of time, that scares people away. Let's not say that. It's like my goal is that people will do this, Yocasta. So you take them for a summer, right? That's how it starts out, right?
Yes, 8 weeks.
8 weeks. And they go through the different departments and they kind of get a sense, oh my God, my head is exploding. I would have loved this so much. I would have actually known what I'm getting myself into. And then they go back to school. And then
yes, I'm sorry. I thought you meant like how many hours a week. We spend, it's a team effort, but yes, it's 8 weeks over the summer. It starts as soon as a week after, or the week of after the Labor Day holiday, and right before school starts again.
Yeah. And then you said like one of your students is about to graduate right now from college, from RISD or what? Which one?
From John Jay.
John Jay. And you're sort of basically still mentoring them, sort of whatever they need help with. Like you're sort of a point of contact that just like you're here to support them in this journey. Is that how you look at it?
Yes, and actually, she found, she's majoring in public policy. She found her way into public policy through like a passion that she had for strategy.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. It must be such a rewarding program to run. I mean, you were joking at the beginning when we just came on before we let everyone in that you feel like a mama to all of them, right?
I wanted to show their work because I feel like a proud mama.
Yeah, I totally get it. I want to make sure we're going to get into Q&A quickly. But let me just wrap up our conversation with what are you currently working on with the internship program? Where do you want to take it? What do you hope it can become?
Yeah, we fast-tracked the launch of an online typography class, just to to make sure that we could continue to progress, or our mentees could continue to progress even during a pandemic. Mm-hmm. It's been an amazing class.
And that's just for them?
It was seven of our interns joined. The one who's studying or graduating from public policy didn't join the typography class. And then we invited 3 mentees that we've also have been mentoring on the side who who didn't come necessarily through our program. In our class, we've been cross-sharing references outside the mainstream of the Eurocentric canon of design. We've been working on developing their formal typography skills and a stronger understanding of their voice. Yeah.
It's amazing. You know, I grew up in Switzerland, and in Switzerland we have basically two tracks. You can either go the university route, or you can go the apprenticeship route, where it's half school, half apprenticeship. And I grew up with a mom running a store where she had apprentices. They were these young women. They were like 17, you know, started at even 16, I think, or even younger. And it just really reminds me of, like, I am someone who really learns by doing and seeing. So, I mean, I would have loved something like this. So I'm just endlessly impressed that you guys are doing this. And I really hope that there's other companies that are going to step up and say, and just sort of see the impact that this can have on our industry, and bring more people of color up into you know, the creative industry. So I really hope that also companies will reach out to you and actually say they want to partner up with you. You were sort of saying that you'd be willing to share the blueprint of this, and possibly even doing a field trip for people that are interested. And
absolutely. We also just became core members of New York City's Department of Education, Media and Technology and Design Commission. And we're supporting that commission by, you know, connecting schools to more student internships and externship for teachers, expanding also the membership by inviting colleagues in our network to participate. So I'm happy to introduce anyone into, you know, to the commission who's interested in running a program like this. Looking ahead, exploring, you know, ways to continue to scale these initiatives with other partners.
I really want to congratulate you and your team on this. I really feel like this is you know, you're investing time, money, and this is like the way we can make change. So I want to move into the Q&A portion, because I know people have questions.